I'm not even sure where to begin. 32M, never thought I'd be writing a post like this. Especially not on Reddit, but here I am. I need to vent, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more I realize I might be the last person to have seen the truth about my marriage. I've been married to Emma, 30F, for almost 5 years. We met at college and quickly hit it off. We had a fairly standard relationship, though I was always more invested in making it work than she was. She's beautiful, outgoing, and has a lot of confidence, which is part of what initially drew me to her. But looking back, I can now see that I was blindsided by all of her charms. I've always been a stable guy, solid job, good career path, and reliable. I never suspected Emma of cheating or doing anything shady. But recently, things started feeling off. I could tell she was a little more distant than usual, more focused on her work, always coming home late or needing alone time. I chalked it up to the stress of her job as a marketing manager. But there was this nagging feeling I couldn't shake. I even noticed her giving me less attention, less affection, less interest in our usual date nights. But I just tried to convince myself I was overthinking. That brings me to the work party. It was the annual holiday celebration for her company. She'd been talking about it for weeks, raving about how excited she was to go. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was invited, of course, but I wasn't particularly interested in spending a night surrounded by her colleagues, so I decided to stay home. A few hours into the party, I get a text from Emma. She says she misses me, that she's having a great time, but I could tell she was slightly tipsy from the way she was texting. I didn't think anything of it. At some point, I get another text from her saying, "I'll be home late tonight." I didn't think much of it, but something about that one seemed off. I should have trusted my instincts. Fast forward a couple of hours, and I get a random phone call from a guy I didn't know. Turns out it was one of her coworkers. Let's call him Mark, 35M. He says something along the lines of, "Hey man, I think you need to come pick up Emma." My heart sinks. He didn't sound drunk or joking, just serious. I knew something was wrong. I immediately grab my jacket and head out. When I arrive at the venue, I find Emma and Mark standing near the bar. But here's the thing. They weren't just standing near the bar. They were all over each other. And by that, I mean all over each other. She was in his arms, laughing, her hand on his chest, leaning in for a kiss. And then she kissed him, right in front of me, in front of all of her coworkers. I stood there frozen. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The woman I married, the one I trusted, was making out with her boss at a company event and doing it in front of everyone. It was like something out of a bad movie, except it was real, and it was happening to me. Mark noticed me standing there and immediately backed off. But Emma didn't seem surprised at all. She didn't even look guilty. In fact, she just stared at me blankly, as if she wasn't sure how I would react. I walked over to her and said, "What the hell is going on?" She immediately started apologizing, but her words were empty. "It's not what it looks like. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen. Please don't make a scene." But I was already beyond that point. The damage was done. The betrayal was clear. I confronted her right there in front of everyone, asking her if this was really what she wanted, if this was what she had been planning. She started crying, saying it was a mistake, that it was just one moment of weakness, but it was too late for apologies. I left the party. She tried to call me repeatedly that night, but I didn't answer. I was beyond heartbroken. I thought I knew who she was, but apparently I didn't. The next day, she came home and tried to talk to me, but I couldn't even look at her. I told her to leave, that I needed space. She begged me to forgive her, but I was done. I told her that I wasn't interested in playing this game anymore. The trust was shattered. A few days later, after lots of back and forth, I finally had enough. I filed for divorce. It wasn't easy, but I realized that I'd been the fool all along. She had been using me, playing me for years. She wasn't just cheating on me emotionally. She was using me for security, for status, for the lifestyle. Her affair with Mark made me realize how little respect she had for me. As for Mark, I've made it clear to him that I'll be pursuing legal action if he tries to get involved with anything related to the divorce or our finances. I've heard through the grapevine that he's trying to make it official with Emma, but I honestly don't care at this point. They deserve each other.